Ultra-violent movies designed to shock you can have a negative effect on the viewers. It is understandable to make a movie to show a heinous crime or a scary plot, but some films step over the line. Filmmakers make sick and twisted films to display violence and not concentrate on a substantial plot. So first I said ultra-violent movies. So if something is ultra-violent, that means very violent. And then these movies are designed to shock you. So Koreans always kind of say shock. It's kind of a little bit of a Konglish and overused. But to shock someone is to surprise someone, to be taken aback, to really affect you emotionally. And then I also said that they concentrate on like a heinous crime or scary plot. Plot is the main story or the main idea of a movie. And then I said some of these films step over the line. So stepping over the line means you have done something unacceptable or not proper for the situation. So that we say step over the line and also cross the line. So you've crossed the line means you might have said or done something to offend someone, just like these movies do. And then filmmakers make sick and twisted films. So sick doesn't mean you have the coronavirus or have a fever. If you're sick, that means your mind can be sick. And then that means you think in a very immoral way. It might be violent. It might be disturbing. So you say, oh, that guy's sick. And we also say twisted. So, to twist is to kind of move something in opposite directions. But we can also say that person has a twisted mind. Portrayals of violent crime, cruelty, and depraved acts should not be why people go to the movies. Violence and crime are a part of every society. However, grotesque and offensive movies are just a reason to attract a certain type of person and excludes the general population. So I said portrayals of violent crime, cruelty, and depraved acts. A depraved act is something without morality. And then I said, that's why people go to the movies. So a lot of Koreans say, I like going to the theater or I like watching movies. We say people go to the movies. Or now with the coronavirus, less people are going to the movies. Or what do you like to do on the weekend? I like to go to movies, or I used to like to go to movies. And I said, however, grotesque and offensive. If something is grotesque, it's very, very disgusting, very, very gross, or very disturbing. Filmmakers want to express themselves and their story through scenes of extreme violence. There have been no concrete studies that connect violence to art. Violence can be used as a tool to make the audience have a deeper connection to the movie. Artists should be allowed to express themselves and let the people decide if it's good or not. So the one thing in this paragraph is there have been no concrete studies. So a study would be like an academic study, and concrete means it's pretty much 100% true, or there's a lot of evidence supporting. So a concrete argument means you have a lot of evidence and a lot of facts to back up your argument. So concrete studies that connect violence to art. So there have been no studies that say, if a child plays a violent video game, they become more violent, or they watch a violent movie, they'll become murderers. There is no evidence for that. So there's no concrete studies. How people see violent images is relative. It's up to the creators of the film to gauge how much violence they use in a movie. Violence and horror are reality, and we can't turn our backs to them and pretend they're not there. Living in a free society means people need to express themselves how they see fit. Okay, so there's a lot in here. First, I just want to talk about the difference between film and movie. They are the same. They're interchangeable. But we usually use film to talk about a movie of better quality or that's won in awards. So, for example, Parasite, that's a film, okay? And also last year, Men in Black International came out. It technically is a film, but that's a movie. We can say it sarcastically, it's a film, but usually when we talk about film versus movie, there's a film is a movie of a higher grade, and movie can be pretty much anything, but usually of a lower grade. Okay, so the creators of the film, to gauge how much violence they use. So to gauge something is to kind of to estimate. So, if you think you're going to go on vacation, you need to gauge your budget. You need to gauge how much money you need to bring, or for example, you need to kind of gauge the time for traffic. So to gauge something means to estimate. And then I said, violence and horror are reality, and we can't turn our backs to them and pretend they're not there. So to turn your back to something means to ignore. It can also mean to not talk to anyone anymore. But if you're saying that, look, we must make only happy movies, it's kind of a silly thing because, there is violence, there is crime in our society, and we cannot pretend it's not there. So we shouldn't turn our backs to it. And finally, living in a free society means people need to express themselves how they see fit. So how you see fit, how she sees fit, that means is it appropriate? How much is of an appropriate amount should you give for something? So if your boss asks you, you need to do a report and you ask back, well, how long should it be? However you see fit. That means I'm giving you the power and the authority to kind of do what you want, but it is an appropriate amount. All right, guys, thanks for downloading. And I want to announce that I'm on Udemy. That's udemy.com. I've uploaded a pre-intermediate business English course. It is a market leader book, and it's a great way, kind of an introduction to business English. So far, I have 8 chapters up, and I'll be uploading more. But if you buy the course, you can look at it whenever you want, forever. And so it's a good way to kind of start with the business English. And it's the same course I teach executives here in Korea. So it's up there for a fraction of the price. So please enjoy it and let me know if you would like me to upload any other courses. And you can email me directly at feurey@gmail.com.